Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Dhruv Krishnan from Electric Drummer Dhruv, and today we are going to talk about how to install this electric drum kit. So first of all, I have participated in this event called Silver Spotlight from this event called Initium. In that event, a lot of people did ask us how to assemble an electric drums, whether it's easy, and many of you who are shifting from an acoustic to an electric drum, so how to go about the installation process. So here, this video is just for you. Now, before we get inside the process, I would just like to thank all my subscribers for subscribing to the channel. I know it's been some time since I had uploaded videos because I have been busy all this while. So yeah, now I have some time, so definitely I will make sure that all your recommendations are satisfied. So now let's get straight into the process. Alright, let's just take a quick look at the dimension of this particular drum kit. So here, as I mentioned, we have 5 rods. So the longest rod over here is around 50 inches, and in this longest rod we are going to place both the first tom and second tom, then the module and the crash. Okay, then we have the leg of the drum, which is like the second longest rod. Okay, so that rod will come across 30 inches, but here it's showing 27.56. Yeah, I'm telling all approx value, but yeah, for precise value you can look at this image. And the overall length of the feet, that is the feet rod, will come under the length of 15 to 20 inch. Yeah, 20 inches. And then yeah, the arms will come approx 15 inches. That is what is showing, but yeah, around 15 inches approx value I'm giving. And as I mentioned, for precise value you can refer this particular image. So yeah, all right, let's quickly look at the components of this particular drum kit. So here we have one long rod, then we have the 2 second long rods, then we have two the smallest rods, and then 2 second smallest rods. So and we have one bass pad pedal, we have one bass pad, then we have 4 L-shaped clamps, then we have one hi-hat foot, then we have screws, then we have these aluminum rods that are meant for mounting the cymbals such as hi-hat, crash and ride. Then we have 3 toms and 1 snare, and I will help you identify the snare and the toms in the tutorial. And yes, we have circle type joints. So let's get into the assembling process. Alright, the stem part of the assembly of the drums has been completed. So now I will quickly guide you through the types of rods that you have to be using. So here, as we can see, the longest rod has been mounted here along with the module. Now I will guide you through the module shortly. Before that, now let's start from the feet. Okay, the feet of the electric drum. So here at the bottom, if you can see, this is the second shortest rod in that list that we have seen earlier. So here you take 2, you will find 2 of those rods with that particular dimension. So you have to take 2 of them, and then you have to attach a shoe. Okay, this part is called the stand shoe. So here you have to attach on both the sides of the rod, for the left as well for the right, and this completes the feet part of the drums. And now we are connecting the leg part of the drums. So then this is the second longest rod that we have over here. So like that, take 2 of them and join them along with this particular joint, as you can see. So all these joints have the same shape, so you can literally choose anything and you can assemble. Now after that, what we are doing is we are connecting after we finish the feet and the leg part, so here now we are going to connect its arms part. Okay, so in the arms on the left hand side we have our snare and we have our hi-hat, and whereas on the right hand side we have our ride and we have our floor tom. So like that you use two joints, so one joint you connect, on top of that you connect another joint in this particular manner, as you can see. So now what to do is, the above joints connected to the legs of both the sides, you connect the longest rod and place it like this. And in this longest rod we are going to attach 4 parts. So that is, one is the crash, second is the high tom, then third is the module, and fourth is the mid tom. Okay, and here when I mean high tom, mid tom, it refers to first and second tom. For beginners, please note this down. First tom, second tom and third tom are also called high, mid and floor. So here like that we connect, and here I have already connected the module, but don't worry, I will guide you through how to connect this. And like that then you place the shortest rod in the below joint for both the sides. Okay, now let us assemble the cymbals and toms and the dimensions I have mentioned earlier. So right now already there has been one cymbal stand that has been connected. So apparently I had lost one screw when I took this for concert, so that's why this has already been connected. Simple, you just need a clamp like this. Okay, and you just need a hook with that circle, and you can just insert this rod, and here you can use a spanner and tighten it. But here this is just one screw. I will guide you through the other screws as well. See, we have a clamp over here. I'll just guide you through how to fix this. Alright, so then here we have attached the crash cymbal. So here you just take one aluminium rod and then you take this particular cymbal, and all you have to do is you just have to press it inside, and here you see these 2 screws over here. You just have to loosen it up, then you have to insert the cymbal, and then you have to tighten it. That's all, nothing much. And this is for the level adjuster. Okay, so if I'm going to this is for the level adjuster. Okay, so if you want to adjust the level and all, then all you have to do is you just have to loosen the screw, and then you have to adjust this level. So after installation I will guide you through this in detail. So right now, just for your brief understanding, I am explaining. So now how do we connect this rod into this clamp? So right now we have a clamp over here. So all you have to do is, now you have to make sure you have a screw like this, out of which, so you have a hook like this. So now what we are going to do with this hook is, now we are going this hook we are going to attach it in this manner. Okay, so now this is a space through which the rod passes. So here we are going to take this hook and we are going to attach it in this manner. Okay, and now how to tighten this hook is simple. So here we have a bolt over here. So we are just going to take that bolt and we are going to tighten this. Now before we tighten this fully, this aluminium rod over there, I have removed it. So now we are going to attach the hi-hat of the drums. Alright, now the aluminium rod has been successfully inserted. Now all we have to do is, you can adjust the height according to your choice, according to your height. And here you tighten the screw like this. Make sure that the screws are extremely tight so that it does not slip off when you are playing the drums. So now let us attach one of the cymbals into this rod. Now before attaching the cymbal, let me just guide you through this. So here we have the same bolt over here. The screw type is also same. All you have to do is, you just have to loosen the screw and then you have to pull this bolt forward. Then you have to insert the rod and then tighten it back. Now one benefit of this screw is, all you have to do is you have to loosen, then you just have to press. You just have to press this so that it gives you space to insert the cymbal. Just press this. Make sure while inserting the cymbal you don't end up pinching your fingers. So yeah, you just have to be a bit cautious. And then if you want to adjust the angle of the cymbal, then this is the screw for it. You can just loosen it. You can adjust the angle however you want, and then later you can just tighten the screws. So that's it. That's the installation for the hi-hat, and literally all the cymbals are installed like this. So let's quickly assemble the cymbals. Alright, now the cymbal installation has been completed. So here, as mentioned, we have 3 cymbals with us. This particular model comes only with 3 cymbals. So that is your hi-hat, your crash and your ride. So while installing the cymbals, make sure that on the shortest rod we insert one joint, and on the longest rod we insert one joint for the crash, and for the second shortest rod, which is on the right hand side, you insert one joint for the ride. Okay, so that's it. Now let us quickly get in through the tom installation. So while installing the tom, make sure that you have a joint on the shortest rod and with this type of screw. So I'll guide you through this. So here we have a holder for the rod, and the holder for the toms are actually much smaller in terms of diameter. So that's why you see only this much of gap, and same case you can see for this particular screw as well. So here the circular part of the screw will come outside. So here all you have to do is this point, this thread area, you just have to insert. Okay, so while inserting, make sure that this adjacent to this hole, and here we are going to insert the holder of the snare. Okay, now don't get confused by the tom and the snare. Okay, so there is a slight difference, so don't do wrong connection. So here, if you can see this right now, this is the snare, and how you can identify the snare is, so here this particular pad has a thick edge on this. So this particular edge is called the snare rim, and it has a specific note for it. And whereas if you look at a high tom, low or floor tom, you won't find a thick edge around it. Okay, so here you will notice a thick layer of rubber over here, and here there won't be rubber, it is just plastic, as you can see. Now when we just flip the snare drum, so as you can see, this is the holder, and you can adjust the position of the holder by using the screw. So here we are going to keep this in perpendicular direction, and then because while mounting the drums it will be easier. As you can see, this holder is in exact perpendicular direction of the snare. So let's just mount it. Alright, the mounting part of the snare is done. So now we are just going to use a nut screw, and we are just going to use a nut, and we are just going to tighten this up. And remember, once before you fully tighten, make sure you adjust the snare position to your level, however you want to, and then tighten the rest. Alright, with this the snare installation is done, and make sure one thing, while you are changing the position, the snare should not come and touch this rod, otherwise it might create an unwanted sound, and the sound will not be pleasant. So make sure it is not touching the rod at any cost. Even while drumming also, make sure that the screws are extremely tight. So like this, let us quickly assemble the remaining toms for the set. Alright, now we have installed the 4 toms, the 3 toms and the snare, along with the 3 cymbals, that's the hi-hat, crash and ride. So this is how it's going to look. So hope all my steps are clear. So now let us assemble the kick, which is also called the bass. So just for beginners, please don't get confused, kick also refers to bass. So let's get through the process. Alright, coming to assembling the bass. So here we need a bass pad over here, and we need a pedal over here. Now how to fix this issue is, so here in this particular drum set, this particular rod over here is to lock the kick. So now how to install it, I will show you. So now this particular rod that we see, we have to insert it over here. So just make sure that you adjust both the sides properly and insert it through its holes. Now friends, I know that this task must be extremely frustrating because you are trying to find a hole. So instead, if you want to make it easy, there is one screw given over here. All you have to do is you have to loosen up that screw, you will get more space and you can insert it. So once you are done with the insertion, just you have to tighten the screw up. Alright, now that part is complete. Now we are going to lock this pedal into this pad. So here, as you can see, this particular extension is used for locking up the pad. Make sure you lock this bolt exactly in the center of this position. If it's somewhere towards the left and right, then you might feel a bit weird while playing the kick of the drums. So what you got to make sure is this particular area goes under this particular position and this base. So this is where you have to lock it, and then you have to tighten the screw. Alright, now the locking part is done. Now all we have to do is tighten the screw for its stability. Alright, let's just do one test. So here, now it is totally stable. Even if you lift this drums also, even if you lift this bass also, there is no chance for the pedal to slip from the pad. That's how tight it should be. So now let us get into the main installation of the drums now. Alright, now the bass installation, we are almost complete, but yeah, now comes the main part, the connections. So this is where you have to be careful, because but it's very easy also at the same time. So here first you have to make sure that the bass and this hi-hat foot is in its respective positions. Okay, and here we are using an extra speaker. Okay, so we got the speaker along with the drum kit, but you can always connect this drums to an external Bluetooth speaker, and also it supports this MIDI device. So I will explain what this MIDI device is. So here let me first show you the connections. But one thing you got to understand is, if you see these wires coming from the module, so module is like the brain of the drum kit. Okay, now here suppose we take one wire, okay, and then it will be mentioned this wire particular connection is for the hi-hat only. And similarly, now let us take this wire. Here it will be mentioned, here it will be mentioned this particular cable is for the first tom only. So let us install that. So first let me install the bass and the hi-hat foot. So here for the bass it will be written kick. Okay, so now what we have to do is, now be a bit patient with the connections, because you don't want to mess up here. And remember, this particular hole that you see, so there is where you need to give the connections. Okay, so once that lock sound comes, that means it has been connected successfully. And while connecting, make sure that there are no tangles in the wire, because that can lead to short circuit. Yeah, now we are going to connect this particular cable to the hi-hat foot. Now one good thing about this drum set is, I think almost every electronic drum sets have this. So you will get these cables in various colors. So in case you don't remember which one is what, you can at least remember by the color code. Now the connection for the hi-hat foot pedal is over here. Yes, that hole looks very hidden. So that's why I mentioned earlier, you need to be extremely patient with the connections, because the holes, the connecting ports are all placed at a very different position. But yeah, it's unique. Now let us connect to the cymbals and toms. Alright, the connections and all are complete. Now let us quickly connect the speaker. Okay, now we need to connect the speaker to the module. Alright, so here our drum sets here consist of tip ring sleeve. Okay, and this is basically of 6.5 mm, and here we have a tip ring sleeve, which is called it's called tip ring sleeve, and this is the size of 3.5 mm. So unfortunately here in our module only 3.5 mm is supported, and we have the cable of 6.5 mm. So now what we're going to do is, we have a converter. So we are going to use a converter and connect the speaker and the module simultaneously. Yeah, so while connecting the cable, the 6.5 mm cable, so here you have to make sure one thing. So here we have 3 holes over here. One is for the mic, one is for the bass guitar, and one is for the aux. So now speaking about this particular cable can be used in bass guitars and electric drums, especially in the DM6. So that's why we are using this cable, and various drum sets nowadays comes with various types of cables. So for this particular drum set we have the tip sleeve cable socket, so you have to connect that into the aux. Alright, so that is done. Now let's connect it to the module using the converter. Now before we connect, you have to understand one thing. So here we have 3 input devices. So one is for the phone, one is for the headphones. The one it's written phones, it is for headphones. Second is for the output, and third is for the mix-in, where you want to get a variation of both. But here, since I am uploading videos and all, or if you want to perform for stage and all, then kindly connect it on the output source. Alright, that is done. But yeah, if you choose to wear headphones and practice, suppose you want to practice in the night where the time is like 12:38 a.m. and all, then you can practice with headphones. Alright, so now the major connection is done. So now here we'll be getting 2 plug points. So one plug point is from the module and the second is from the speaker. Alright, now let's just connect and let's turn them on and we'll see how it sounds. Yeah, one part also Alesis DM6 has provided. So here this is used to display the Alesis logo, and you can literally place it wherever you want. So it will look good in the center, but right now I like to place it on the side. Okay, this is just a final touch up, so it is not compulsory for you to fix it, but yeah, fixing it will make it look very professional. Alright, everything is done, so let's just do the startup of the speaker first. Yeah, there you go. Now let's do the startup of the module. Now here module, there will be one small switch behind, little bit hard to locate, but yeah. Alright, so now the whole installation is done. So let's just play something. Yes. Alright, so now the complete installation is done. So now let me just guide you through this particular drum set. Okay, so here in this drum sets, what are the features that are available in electric drums compared to an acoustic drums. So this is also a very important point. So all of you please listen very carefully. Alright, so again, as I mentioned, the module is the brain of the entire drum sets. Okay, so here in this module we have metronome. So if you want to practice with the rhythm, then just click this metronome. There's some issue with the speaker, that's why that sound is coming. That's the metronome. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the 4 counts. And now if you want to make it 5/4, then you have to press this plus button. You have 6/4, 7/4, 3/8, 6/8, and then so on. Now suppose if you want to increase the tempo of the metronome, then you all you have to do is press tempo and press the click. Again press tempo, and then you can increase the tempo. It will go all the way up to 280. Yeah, 280 is the max tempo you can have in this, friends. Now suppose you want to adjust volume not in a sharp manner, then you have to press this volume and then you can adjust. So this is not a very sharp way of adjusting volume. If you want to adjust volume in a sharp manner, then this particular knob is the thing. Alright, so now here if you press voice, so while we are playing any drum, so example I am playing the first tom. If I press the first tom, then that particular LED displayed over here will show which is the tom that I recently played in. So that is what the voice function does. Suppose if I play the kick, then it will display kick. Alright, now when you look at the kit, so here kit there is nothing much. So this is when if you want to do a recording of a particular song. So then again, and if you want to save the recording, then you have to press save. Alright, so nothing much. So now let me guide you through what the start stop is. So let me reduce the volume, and suppose there are songs installed in this as I mentioned earlier. So let's just play one song. Alright, because the tempo has been set extremely high at 280, so that's why the song was fast. Let me restart the module again. So here, but before getting into the song part, let me show you one more thing also. So suppose you want to change the tone of the drums. Okay, as I mentioned, the number of tones also can be changed. So if you want to mention the tone of the drums, then all you have to do is you have to press pattern. Okay, and let's play the crash now. Okay, right now the kit is at 0, voice is at 0, pattern is at 1. Let me play the crash. Now suppose I change the pattern to 2, then the sound changes. I've changed it to 6 now. Then your first term and your crash. Now here we have, now this is a very fun sound. We have a tabla variant. Now you get certain sets of sound, but suppose you're not satisfied with that, so you have to press voice again, and with that you can tune your particular drum set. Yes, so now here we have kit is 0, voice is 2, and pattern is 0.9. so here suppose, okay, that's the sound of the crash. So now I've pressed voice and I'm adjusting it, let's say, okay, and now I play the crash. See, it gives a very weird sound, but yeah, there is a tabla version also installed in this. So I think it will mostly be this one. Yeah, that's the crash for the tabla variant. And suppose you're not happy with the bass sound. Now if you want something with extreme bass, then I got something for you. So let me just adjust the voice and pattern to 4.4, and now listen to this, friends. Yes, that gives it a very bass kind of sound. Now suppose you want a crash with a much louder sound, which I always use for my videos, then this is a good sound. So keep the voice at 6 and pattern at 0.2, and at full volume it's going to be crazy. So that's it. That's how you tune the drums according to your need. That is just the guide through. Now let me just quickly explain the start stop and the music used in it. So here I'll press the start stop. Alright, so as I mentioned, they just to have a practice of the rhythm. So there are certain songs that are installed, and here the benefit of these songs is, yeah, all are slow and all have that electronic vibe within them. Now there is an option called drum off. Suppose this is the song. Let's listen to the song once. Now I'm going to turn off the drums. So here you can practice with the drum off. So just like in your lessons where you practice with a metronome and drums, with the metronome first, and then without metronome only drums, and then later you practice without the drums. So again, this kit is a very beginner friendly kit. And suppose you want to play the song much faster, go to tempo and increase the tempo, or you can decrease the tempo if you want to learn, if you are a slow learner. No offense to anyone. And you can practice along with the metronome, and you can turn off the drums and practice along with the metronome. That's how beginner friendly this particular model is, and that's the reason why I picked this model. So this is a 2013 model, and yeah, still it's functioning very well. I am very impressed at the way how Alesis has engineered this. Now another benefit of this is when you press pattern, you can see the drums that are being involved in this particular song. Yeah, you can press pattern if you want to see the drums. Even if you turn off the drums also, still the drums that are being used in the song will be displayed. Now suppose, let's change the song. Or if you want to change the song, just press pattern and click plus. And once you stop the song, so you will notice that the tones of your pads and your cymbals will change. So now for this particular song, this is the tone of the crash. Now suppose let me change the song. Now this is the song, okay? Now let me stop the song. Now let me just now take a look at this. Yeah, so like that, even your tones of the cymbals change because these particular tones have been used in that song. So that's it, friends. Alright friends, I hope all of you enjoyed this particular video. All of you understood how to go about the installation process. So yeah, it's very simple. So if you have any doubts, please feel free to refer the video again, or please feel free to directly message me online, and I will make sure I will answer all your doubts as possible. Also, please do recommend interesting songs. I will try my level best to upload it as soon as possible. So till then, this is Dhruv Krishnan signing out.